Yesterday, a can of Bud Light lands in front of me upon the table, and it was like no other can of Bud Light I've seen before, which is to say it was festooned with a rainbow and a command to, quote, celebrate everyone's identity, end quote. Now, at this particular time, I was identifying as a parched humanoid in the summer sun who simply wanted to quench my thirst with some cold suds. Full disclosure, despite its inexplicable popularity, Bud Light is not a desirable brand of beer for me. Budweiser itself truly meets the proverbial bad beer definition of horse piss, so why would I even want further watered down pseudo-equine urine in my glass? But as sailors tend to say, any port in a storm, I suppose. But nevertheless, what was this odd can in front of me? Was it a container for beer, or was it propaganda to indoctrinate drinkers to embrace a facet of critical race theory or critical sexual orientation theory, as the case may be? In addition to the celebrate command, the can was festooned with pronouns. There were the classic pronouns, you know, she, him, her, they, etc. But then there were a bunch of made-up words, which I imagine are whiz-bang new age pronouns that do not reside in any dictionary that I know of. Indeed, I don't even know how to pronounce these words, which is a pressing concern for someone who currently identifies as a journalist. And get this, Labatt Breweries, which brews Bud Light in Canada, they have apparently axed the call center, so calling the 1-800 phone number on the can is an exercise in futility, as there are no more he's or hers or theys picking up the telephone these days. Anyway, in the days following, I remained obsessed with those made-up words, in both English and French, no less. As a side note, I'll have to ask my Francophone colleague, Alexa Lavoie, if she can make sense of the words in French. Say, how do you say phony baloney in French? So it was that yesterday I traveled to the Labatt Brewery in London, no, not the real London, the Ontario London, that is, to see if anyone could educate me. Check it out.
Reception?
Yes, hi there. My name is David Menzies, and I'm with Rebel News, and I'm just hoping to speak to a spokesperson about these Bud Light cans. It's, you know, they have words on it. I'm not even sure how to pronounce them. XE, XEM, SIE, HIR. And I was just trying to find out what these words are, how you pronounce them, you know, who's responsible for that. Is there someone that could speak to me?
I'll send someone out to the gate.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, hi there, sir. How you doing?
Good. Do you work for Labatt?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Are you the lady that's going to talk about the Bud Light can? Do you know what an XE is or an XIR? No. It's on the can.
I have nothing to do with marketing.
So isn't that interesting? Not even the people at Labatt know what these words are or how to pronounce them. And no, I never received a response to my emailed query. And no, Labatt Corporate did not get back to me either. But the question arises, what is the purpose of putting all this gender gibberish on cans of beer? And Bud Light is no fringe beer made by some cottage brewery in the gay village. Bud Light is about as mainstream as it gets. Do you think the average consumer of Bud Light gives a rodent's rectum about bogus gender descriptors? What is Labatt even thinking? Indeed, is there even 10 people in all of Canada who refer to themselves as an XE or an XEM or an SIE or an HIR or a ZE or a ZIR? Huh. I think ground zero for Pronoun-a-Palooza goes back to 2016 when the great Jordan Peterson took a stand against compelled speech. He refused to use make-up words to describe students who attended his former place of employment, that being the University of Toronto. And for taking a sane and righteous stand, the various spirit unicorns and their asinine allies on campus had a conniption, of course, demanding Professor Peterson be punished. But thankfully, Peterson did not bend the knee, and in an interview with the BBC, he stated the following, quote, "I've studied authoritarianism for a very long time, for 40 years, and they've started by people's attempts to control the ideological and linguistic territory. There's no way I'm going to use words made up by people who are doing that, not a chance," end quote. Bravo! But alas, earlier this month, Professor Peterson was kicked off Twitter for apparently hurting the feelings of Ellen Page, who is now going by the name Elliot Page. Geez, talk about a real page turner, eh? Anyway, Peterson called the person who performed surgery on her a, quote, criminal physician, end quote. And that was good enough for the censorious thugs at Twitter to cast aside Professor Peterson. Hey, what happened to that diversity we're all supposed to be embracing? Or is a diversity of opinions offside, even when it comes to a company such as Twitter that is based in the land of the First Amendment?
What you just saw was an excerpt from my nightly show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every weekday I do a monologue. Usually it's about half an hour. Then I interview an interesting guest, and then we read my hate mail or my fan mail, whichever is more fun. It's only available behind a paywall, though. That's how we pay our bills here at Rebel News. We don't take a dime from Justin Trudeau. But the good news is it's only $8 a month, about half the price of Netflix. And in addition to my nightly show, you also get weekly shows from 4 other friends here at Rebel News. So you're getting 36 shows a month just for $8. I think it's worth it. And even if you're not quite sure, do it anyways, because we rely on viewers like you to keep us free and independent. I promise you I'll never take a dime from Trudeau. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com and click subscribe. Thanks.